Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show how you can turn your lovely Warhammer 40k Sprues into this wizard tower, or it could be a lookout tower. And here we have Harry the Orc Wizard with his magic staff and his whizzing wand. So to start with, I've got lots of little tubes and plastic bottles and bits and pieces, and I'm going to use this to make the core of the building, and then later on I can clad it in my sprue bricks. So I made a very rough drawing, including some of these bottles that I found, just so I can get a rough idea of how I want this to look. And then it's just a case of cutting the bottles down and fixing them to the base, which in this case happens to be a CD. And then I've got the wooden tube for the centre bit. And another bottle cut in half for the top. And then once it's all glued and stuck in place, and here I'm even using some good old sellotape. And then once that's all done, I can get my super grout out and then go over the whole thing in a good covering of grout. And there we go, that gives me a good base now, which I can cover it in all my lovely bricks, which I'm about to make. So to make the bricks, basically I'm just going to cut the sprues up into a length that I think will work well for the bricks, and then just keep doing this until I've got hundreds and hundreds of bricks. And to make them look a bit weathered and old and worn, I'm going to place them inside this coffee grinder. So this coffee grinder was brought for me by Chance and his son Liam, who live in Texas. They kindly bought this for me to try out a different experiment, and the experiment didn't work, but what it did do was make some awesome looking weathered bricks. So that's exactly what I'm going to make here. Just give them a few seconds in the grinder is enough to round off all the edges and give them lots of little nicks and nooks and damage basically. And then comes the fun job of placing each brick individually around the rough building I've just made. And then we basically just keep repeating this process for the next 10 days. Well, to be honest, I think it only took me a few hours, which wasn't too bad. And I was watching movies at the same time. So I took a little break from laying down the bricks, so I could then make the tiles for the roof. As I knew I was going to make this from the ooey gooey sprue stuff, rolled out into like a plate, I wanted to do this fairly early, just so I'd have plenty of time to dry. So to make the tiles, it's just a case of putting the ooey gooey sprue stuff onto this greaseproof tin, and then using this roller that has measured marks either end, I can just roll it out nice and flat. So I then left it for about 5 hours, just so the acetone could start evaporating. And then with my little wire brush, I can just go over it and make a few little marks and scratches in it. Just so it look more like wooden tiles then. And then to make the roof, I just cut a circle out of plastic card and then wrapped it round to make a little point. This just then gets glued and cut. And there we go, one pointy roof. And again, I'm just going to cover that in a bit of grout as well. So I just need to mark out where I'm going to have a door. I'm also going to have a platform coming away from the door. So I've stuck on the platform, and now I'm just going to cut the door out. And then put the bricks down on the platform, just to make it look more like a path. With the bricks, again, it's just a case of placing them one at a time. So now I can make a little wall on this platform. And then back to finishing off some more bricks on the last part of the tower. So I wouldn't like to think how many bricks I've used in this in total. but it's definitely worthwhile doing, and I think it looks great. So I've rolled out some thicker ooey gooey spruey stuff, and I'm going to cut this up and use this to make the bigger bricks go around the doorway. And then just when you thought you'd laid enough bricks, there's some more bricks to lay at the top of the tower. And then to finish off the top, I've marked out some areas just so I can make some good old turrets, as every castle needs to have turrets. So now back to those panels that I scratched earlier. They've had plenty of time for the acetone to fully evaporate. And now they're nice firm sheets that I can cut up into small little tiles. And again, these just get stuck on one by one. Overlapping as they go up. And even a doorway's been made out of one of those flat panels. Cut into like an old-fashioned looking door, cut into strips, and a few more strips just going over it as though they'd be keeping the whole thing together. So being able to make flat panels from the ooey gooey spruey stuff certainly does open up a lot of possibilities to making all kinds of things. And then finishing off the door with the good old rivets. And then back up to the roof, just going to add in this little chimney. And to do that, all I need to do is drill a hole in the roof. And there we go, it's all complete and primed in black. I think it's starting to look pretty decent. So I'm going to go over all the brickwork and give it a dry brushing with grey. Just as I want some of that black just to remain there in all the gaps. And then I'm doing a similar sort of thing with the brown tiles. And then to finish off the bricks, I'm just going to go over again with some dry brushing, but this time a little bit of white. So I'm going to add some of the fake grass to the base, but rather than putting that straight over to the black, I'm going to paint it green first. So then I'm putting a layer of PVA glue down first. And just sprinkling this grass on top. This is the first time I've really used this stuff, so apologies if I'm doing this wrong and people are shouting at the screen, that's not the way to do it. But obviously this is my first time, so this is how I'm doing it. And it's not coming out too bad. So as I want this tower to look like it's been here for hundreds of years, I'm also going to add some of this fake grass up the side of the tower, in the hope it's going to look like moss just growing here and there. So now the tower's pretty much done. I just need to make my little wizard, who I think I'm going to call Harry. Harry the Orc. So eventually I want to give him a wand and a staff. So I've chosen these weapons, as these ones I can just cut down. And one of them I can actually cut into the shape of a wand. So for the staff, I'm just going to glue on 2 bits of metal either side of his hand. And then later on I will cover this in some green stuff and just scratch into it a wooden effect. And I'm also going to use the green stuff to make him a cloak and a wizarding hat. So there he is, all primed and ready to go. It doesn't look too bad. So I'm using a mixture of Citadel contrast paints as well as some normal Vallejo paints. So I've just noticed with the wizarding hat I've given him, I've not actually given it a rim. So it looks a bit funny. Well, I was saying that even with the rim, it still looks a bit funny. But I quite like it, as I like orcs and I like wizards. And there we go, I'm pretty pleased with how he's come out. As I say, I may not be the best painter, but I'm certainly enjoying the painting, which is the main thing about this hobby. Making sure you're enjoying yourself. And there we go guys, one wizarding tower, which I have to say is probably one of my best builds yet. I'm really pleased with how the bricks look, as well as the tiles on the roof. And I do like my little orc wizard. So welcome to the world, Harry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave some comments down below, let me know what you thought of this, as well as what you want to see me make in the future. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, as I do make videos every week, as well as doing the odd live stream here and there. Thanks as always to all my lovely patrons for helping support the channel. That really does mean so much to me, as one day I would like to do this full time. There's a link in the description guys where you can become a patron. It's only £1 per month, but it does go to supporting this channel. There's a couple more videos on the screen, give those a click to see more of what I do. One last thing guys, if you are able to share this channel anywhere on any kind of social media, that certainly would be much appreciated. Okay guys, that's it. Bye for now.